Vermont Clover are playing in the New England Cup. This is our second chance to bring home some hardware this year. While we were ultimately not quite successful in the UPSL Division I League, losing in the final in a action-packed and madcap overtime loss 3-2 to Boston Emeralds, we are back and we are charging hard for the New England Cup. That kicks off on Sunday, July 5th in Portland against Quakes FC, and then we play games every weekend after that for the next few weeks. So we've got Quakes on Sunday, and then the following week we've got Maine Legends in Colchester at St. Mike's, and then the week after that we have Hartford Athletic 2, a UPSL Premier team that's coming to town. And then, as long as we keep going, we'll be playing in the playoffs after that. So hop on the ticket website, grab your tickets now, and come on out to support us as we chase another piece of summer hardware that's going to get us all the way through the summer. We'll see you soon.
Welcome to the Pink and Green Podcast, where we explore the rise of Vermont soccer through the lens of community, culture, and the game itself, featuring stories from Vermont Clover FC. Join us as we talk with players, coaches, and the people shaping the future of the game in Vermont. Welcome to the Pink and Green Podcast. I am AJ Murray.
And I'm Chris George.
Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
What's new in your world?
My world. Picked up the girls at school. It's nice out today.
It is.
What else is new in my world? I'm just, I'm completely flummoxed by that question, is because all I'm thinking about is what makes the Market Basket seltzer superior.
It is pretty good. I don't know what makes it superior, but it's pretty tasty. They got some good flavors. We're either, you'll find two varieties. We'll either have Market Basket or Polar brand seltzer here in the house, and then sometimes we'll branch out. Costco have a flat of something unique.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about Polar, because I'm most familiar with Polar.
Yeah.
So which is better?
Man. If I had to do like a side-by-side comparison, I would say Market Basket. Like I think the flavors are a bit fuller, but you're and not that Polar has this, but like it's fuller, but there's no saccharin or anything like that. Like it just tastes like you can definitely taste the raspberry more in the Market Basket brand stuff than you can in the Polar stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting your money's worth a little more.
Yeah, exactly.
Is raspberry your favorite?
I'm a big fan of black cherry, actually.
Yeah, black cherry soda is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Especially old school black cherry soda where it's like made with real sugar, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Stewart's is a good kind.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I've always wondered if they are related to the Stewart's convenience store people. I don't know that answer.
I could never turn down a fountain soda cherry Coke. I love cherry
so
Coke.
Good. Yeah, cherry Coke is so good. Cherry Coke is so good. And I think that it diminishes the cherry Coke a little that they now have all these other Coke flavors like vanilla Coke and lime Coke or whatever. Like it used to just be Coke, cherry Coke, Diet Coke, right?
Yep.
Yeah. When the world was a little simpler. Are you old enough to remember when they changed to New Coke? And it was a disaster, or is that before your?
I think that was before my time.
Yeah, I was a little kid and I remember people lost their minds.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so
I remember Crystal Clear Pepsi.
Yes. Yeah. It tasted exactly the same, only it was clear, and people did not like that either.
Yep.
Their whole advertising campaign was just clear.
Clear as water or something like that.
Yeah. Which kind of begs the inevitable question of why on earth is it black if you can make it clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Or what do you do into a thing that's normally black to make it clear?
Yeah.
And then I guess the inevitable question after that is, what is the default color of Pepsi? Like, what color is it actually?
You're not adding brown food coloring to that, are you? Why?
Right, exactly. I mean, and that's probably where the cancer is the brown food coloring. We've gone a little off track with our green and pinkness today here, but that's okay. We have a very special episode today. The person I'm interviewing is AJ.
Ooh, in the hot seat. Yeah.
I guess so. And normally how we do this is AJ does the proper interview stuff and I just throw things in there when we have a guest. But today we wanted to flip the script a little bit because I am genuinely curious about AJ. And although we spend a lot of time together, we don't really have those kind of deep conversations that are
Fair.
like to just learn more about each other than the really casual stuff, right?
Very
Like,
true. Yeah.
so I think it will be fun to talk about a little bit of like how you found us. Because that's okay. Let's just start at the beginning. How did you find us?
Um, I saw, yeah, so the Instagram algorithm worked in your favor. Last summer, we, as a family, we finally started getting out to Vermont Green games. And of course, they had a wonderful season, made it in the playoffs, had, great time. And kind of off that like rush of like local sports scene and everything, my son's a huge fan of soccer. I was flipping through the gram one day and your account got advertised to me. It's like, hey, check this out. And I don't think it was an ad per se. It was just, this is a new account. Check it out. And at the time, it had the AI generated logo, I believe you're referring to when we've had those conversations. But it's just like, oh, hey, cool. There's a new soccer team in town. So that kind of like planted the seed there. And then I didn't see the account again for a while until I want to say it was earlier this year. And then I started seeing you were posting the signed images, like the players that you guys had signed up to play for the coming season. So it kind of refreshed, like, oh yeah, this thing it exists as a thing.
Yeah, that's the AI logo was not around for very long. So it's nice that the it's nice that it was always meant to just be a placeholder with the league and they weren't that wasn't supposed to be out in public. But it did and we have the nice logo now. I appreciate that it things that we hope work in our favor actually worked in our favor. That's nice.
Yeah,
And so I think you sent me an email, right? Or was
yeah,
it yeah,
yeah.
which is also cool because things are working the way they're supposed to. And you had this idea, this project you wanted to pitch. And
Yes.
yeah, so, and my question now we need to know about what the original idea for the project was, but I'm curious about how the execution on said project may have evolved since you actually kind of rolled your sleeves up and got in here.
Yeah. So I originally pitched to you like this is the inaugural year of Vermont Clover. Let me follow along, practices, traveling, any sort of events you guys are participating in, and just take pictures and kind of document this thing and let me do like the storytelling of your first year. And then, after all is said and done, I'll take some time and put together like a photo book of like, the highlights and how, like, I want to capture like, what was it like to be at Clover practice? What was it like to be at a game? What was it like to be, in the community events and stuff like that? Like, just capture the essence of this first year of Vermont Clover.
Yeah, I think that you do an awesome job at that. People always, when people ask about, oh, who does your photography? The next thing that comes out of their mouth is, I really appreciate that it's not just action shots. They really
Yes.
like that kind of behind the scenes stuff. How have you felt? Is that still the vision for the project? Is like the behind the scenes kind of scrapbook, tell the first story thing?
Yes. Yes. And
Cool.
there's every time I go to a game, I think about like what's something that I haven't had a chance to document yet. And one of the things that's on my to-do list is the supporters, the fans, right? Like a lot of family comes to support these guys when they play, and not all of them live locally. So they're making like long treks up here to be able to sit in the stands. And so, my vision for that is like to approach the crowd, who's family, who's close friends, who are you here supporting? And along the lines, we have like a little metal fence to separate the pitch from the crowd. And I just want them kind of like grabbing onto that, and take their portrait and, make sure to add some of those into the book.
Yeah, one of the pictures that gets a lot of real positive feedback is the picture of Michael and John O'Connor hugging. I think that was after
Oh,
the first home game where they're kind of
yeah.
like hugging over the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
people really like that one. I really like that one too because it just kind of captures that moment between a father and a son. Like the pure and OC John Michael's father's been at. I think he's been at all the home games.
I think so too. Yeah.
which is pretty crazy because it is not a short ride from Rutland where they live.
Oh my gosh.
And Michael and Sean come up for almost every practice
Yeah.
from Castleton, right? I assume Sean's back at home in Montpelier now, but they were coming up every time from Castleton, which is pretty crazy. I mean, that's commitment, right?
There's always a carload of the Castleton guys piling
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no joke. So so a lot of the shots, a lot of the photography that we use, not all of it, but a lot of the photography that we use in our social media and just in all of our stuff is yours.
Yeah.
How's that journey been for you?
It's been wild. So the reason why I wanted to do this is like I'm not a photographer by trade, right? Like I'm not a professional photographer for my career. I work in IT. I have worked in IT for like the last 20 years. Photography has always been something that lets the creative juices flow. And I've really heavily invested in that in the last 5 years. Like I have, really high end, like professional body because that's what I wanted to learn on the platform I wanted to use. I've always been a proponent of buy once, cry once. So I spend the money on the expensive glass because they say like marry your glass, date your body. In camera terms. So I buy the expensive glass because it's going to be the stuff I'm going to use for the next 10 or 20 years. I don't want to buy the cheaper version, use that, and then buy the expensive version later. Just buy the expensive one. So I've made this investment because for me, photography is a long play, right? Like it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life and something that I can enjoy into retirement, right? Like I've started teaching workshops. I want to do a variety of those. I always like to like teach and share and stuff like that. So I wanted to do this project because there's only so many times I can go to the same covered bridge or barn and take pictures of it. And I don't knock any photographer that does that. Some really great photographers do that. Ansel Adams was famous for like always visiting the same spot in different times of the year and stuff like that and taking different pictures because you'll always get, different results. The weather's always different. The light's always different. But for me, that was just getting like a little long in the tooth. And through some experimenting, I found that I love to take pictures of people doing the thing that they love to do. Whether or not I'm interested in it has nothing to do with it, right? Like if it's something that the person enjoys doing, like I want to capture them like in their moment, make them feel seen. And that's just really something that I keep gravitating towards. And so I saw this as an opportunity to get some really good experience, to get out a couple times a week and use my camera and, sharpen my eye and just get better at this thing that I love to do. And boy, has it turned into so much more than that in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, we roped into this thing for starters. I appreciate what you said about wanting to take pictures of people pursuing something that they're passionate about. There's just something about being around people experiencing joy.
Yes.
Right? And I've always felt that I appreciate your love for getting that on film because my favorite pictures are those kind of like agony and ecstasy sort of moments where it's just, you got the pure emotion. And it's not just a thing that happens in athletics, but you get a lot of opportunities for that when you're around athletics, right? Because people are competing so hard and they're doing something that they genuinely love.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the time it's really like type 2 happiness, right? Have I ever talked to you about the type 1 and type 2 happiness?
No.
Someone introduced this concept to me. Type 1 happiness is like puppy dogs, balloons, and ice cream. Like, like it's fun. Like it's just fun. There's not anything in it. You don't have to work for it. It shows up and it's great. Like popping balloons is fun. Like playing with the puppy dog is fun. Or eating ice cream is fun. And then there's type 2 fun, which is like you really got to work for it. And it's not necessarily fun in the moment that you're doing it, but you walk away from it saying, man, I had a lot of fun. Yeah. And it was an expression of joy. And that describes every soccer game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of type 2 fun. It's hard work, but at the end you're like, yeah, that was great. I loved that. Even though there might not have been a single moment while doing the actual activity that you would have said, man, this is fun.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great definition.
Yeah. One thing that I'm curious about, and I don't want you to tell me, I want to guess it. I want to know what the AJ is. I want to know what A and J is. Okay. I'm going to ask you the questions maybe to get to there. Is the J, does that represent junior?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I got the J. So
Right off the
not,
bat, too. I thought that was going to take a little bit longer.
no, it's not actually your middle name. Junior's
But
not actually your middle
I
name.
will say that my middle name also starts with a J. So there's like this double entendre with a J.
Gotcha. Name of saint, I'm sure. James or John or something
James.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yep.
all right. Wow,
Yep.
first trying that one too.
Yep.
All right. Now I don't know anything about your family background. We've never talked about this. Okay. Is it Anthony?
No.
Okay. Am I on the right track here?
I mean, it starts with A.
Yeah, it starts with A. Okay. How about Andrew? I'm just gonna go names of the six.
No, no,
Andrew.
no, no.
Adam? No.
Nope.
Nobody
Nope.
goes AJ from Adam.
No.
Is it a name that is commonly nicknameified into something else?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't believe so. I've never heard any nicknames. I mean, it's been shortened.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna get the A. It's a hard one. It's not. So it's not any kind of Anthony. It's not any kind of Andrew. It's not any kind of Adam. But it does start with an A.
I think it's along the same lines of commonality. There's a couple of different ways that you could spell it.
Oh, so like maybe it's Antonio. No.
Nope.
All right. I'm done guessing. You're gonna have to tell me.
It's Alan.
Alan. Oh,
Alan.
yeah. Usually Allens are Alan,
Yeah.
right? Like nobody's. You're the first Alan I've ever met that is not Alan.
Yeah, I don't go by Alan. Yeah. Yeah. And then like my dad was he always went by Al.
Yep.
He was really into like CB radio, and his whole thing was like 8 Ball or Big Al or something like that. And I remember when I was a kid, somebody called me Big Al. I'm not Big Al, I'm Little Al.
So then you just became Al Jr., which
Yeah.
naturally lent itself to being shortened to AJ.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I've just gone by that. Like it's like, I will tell you, literally, I sometimes forget my first name is Alan. Like in high school and college, like first day of school, taking roll call, Alan. Oh yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Yep. My bad. Alan Murray.
Yep.
Alan Murray. Yeah.
Yep.
That's all right. Mystery soft. Alan. So Alan James Murray. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. AJ. Good. But it's more like, but it's Al Jr.
Yeah.
Really is what it is. It's Al Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. How are you? So your dad is Alan James also. So that's how juniors work.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be a junior, to have the same name as somebody else?
Oof. So I will tell you that growing up, my honest feelings about it was I felt it was kind of like a cop out. Like, oh gosh, my parents couldn't think of an original name, so they just named me after my dad. But my perspective on that changed because when I was 18, I unexpectedly lost my dad. And so I'm very proud to carry on his name.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's not cool that you lost him, but that's cool that you get to carry that little piece of him like that.
Yeah.
I mean, people my parents' age are in love with the name Christopher, in love with it.
Yeah.
And same with Aaron, right? So I've got a sister, Aaron, right? And the people I went to school with a bunch of Chris's.
So that was the name that my parents were tossing around for me before they decided on Alan Jr.
That would have been
like
wild.
I was almost a Chris.
Chris Murray. That would have been wild if we were both Chris's here doing this thing. Although I think about a lot of times how like names influence the things that happen for you.
Yeah.
Right. There's just like that the one sound that is you. Like that's what it is. It means me, right? But like, how does the name influence a thing? And you can't really do a study about it because you can't prove a negative, right? Like what doors have been opened because you're AJ versus being Alan versus being named Chris, right?
Right.
You just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I've also thought about names like Chris is effectively a gender neutral name, right? Because you could be Christine, you could be Christopher.
True. Yep.
Whatever. There's no like strong gender. Alan, on the other hand, like I've never met a woman named Alan.
No.
There could be, and there are some names too that are used, like Ryan, for example. It's not an uncommon women's name,
right?
But when you hear Ryan, you immediately think, okay, that's a man,
right?
So I've always wondered about the name thing, and maybe that's the subject of a different conversation because I want to hear more about your photography stuff. Hey, so 5 years you've been doing it, or 5-ish years since you got kind of serious,
yeah,
and you were doing a lot of landscape stuff until you decided, okay, I'm going to dive into this portraiture thing, but like moving portraits,
right?
And do you enjoy more of the the portrait kind of stuff, or do you enjoy more of the kind of sports photography thing where people are moving real fast?
Definitely where people are moving fast, right? What kind of helped get me in this lane was I saw an opportunity to volunteer for it's a thing, the Vermont Iron Dog. That's what it's called, the Vermont Iron Dog. So it's this annual competition. It starts out with all of the, police. It could be TSA, it could be military, all the police dogs, all of those folks run this competition, run this course. And then later in the day, if you have a dog and you want to run the course, you can do it too. You don't have to have any sort of affiliation. So I signed up to be a volunteer for that. And I got put on the water section of the course where they had to cut off of the trail, run through a marshy area, and then jump into some water and run through the beach and then up onto the sand and back onto the trail, and away they went. And it's held at this beautiful camp in Colchester. And it was just really fun capturing the splashing of the water, the looks that the dogs would give their handlers, like looking for the next command, or, did I do that right? Like, it was just really fun. And that's what kind of got me off of like, going and do the landscape thing all the time, and like, oh, okay, there's this other side of like photography that I should explore more.
Yeah. So you're saying that you're at Vermont Clover because of dogs.
If we were to shorten it, yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the same thing you talked about earlier, right? It's watching someone do what they're really passionate about.
Yeah, yeah,
Like those
exactly.
dogs love to work.
Oh yeah,
They love
yeah,
to run. They love to splash around. And for them, it's not play, but it's play. It's got the same
right.
feel as play for them. They love that. And
Yeah.
that's, oh man, I bet that I'd like to see some of those photos some days.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to show you.
What has been your favorite part so far about, actually, let me back up one step. So you started coming, it was definitely January that you started coming around, which was when
Yeah.
we started kind of doing our thing inside and whatever. So you've been here basically since the very beginning, since
Yeah.
you might have been at the very first session that we all got together.
Maybe. I think I, by happenstance, contacted you just before you started doing your first practices, and I don't think I made it to like the very first one, but I was there like that first week.
Yeah, that's really cool. So your, what's been your kind of like favorite experience so far? One of the best ways to help and support Vermont Clover, besides cheering and watching the games, is to become a sponsor. We're always looking for new partners to help deliver on the best possible experience we can for all of our players on our men's team, our women's team, and all the youth initiatives we support in the community. If you're looking to help out, consider being a sponsor. You can get in touch with me at chris@vermontclover.com.
Watching the team form, right? Like, I think when everybody showed up, there was this obvious sense of like, I need to prove myself. I need to make sure that I get picked to be on the roster. I'm not shortlisted or anything like that. So, you could tell that while everybody was there to be on a team, everybody was also like kind of independently showing off or showing what they're capable of. And very quickly, I think that mentality went away, and the camaraderie started to form, and people started to get to know each other. And even myself, right? Like, I was always kind of an outsider. Like, I first kind of approached this as like a ninja, right? Like, if I'm getting spotted, I'm in the way. And I don't want to be in the way. I just want to be like an observer. But then, people started to like get to know me, and I started to get to know them. It's like, hey, AJ, what's up? And then now, like, I see these guys around, and they seek me out and say hello and stuff like that. So it's just been really fun to watch the growth of this thing.
Yeah, what do you think the biggest reason for that was?
I think it's the leadership, and that's both Brian's leadership and the environment that he kind of cultivates, as well as Michael O'Connor's, right? Like, he's the team captain, and even on practices and stuff like that. Like, I know it's a very like per game kind of role, but even off the pitch, he still very much carries himself as like a leader on the team.
Yeah, there are guys that they're leaders amongst leaders, right? Because
Right.
kind of almost by definition, a lot of the guys are going to be leaders in their different environments that they're at
Yeah.
all the time. They're oftentimes the best players at their club team or what have you. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to see how leaders do leader things, right? And how they
Right.
pull people in. And you know this too, like, and in your work with teams, functional teams are really only as effective as their leaders are, right? Like you
Yes.
can't be a truly functional team if the leader isn't creating space for that team to be functional,
Right.
right? If it's all about the leader, it never works. If it's all about
Yeah.
this one guy, it never works. If it's all about this small group of people, it never works.
Right.
Um, from a photography perspective, I guess, what's been the most challenging? What's been the biggest obstacle for you, or your biggest challenge that you've faced?
Um, I would say my skills as a soccer storytelling photographer, right? Like my only experience shooting soccer prior to Clover was my own son's games, right? Like and that's honestly the extent of it. So when we first talked and you know there's like, well, you know, I can't afford to pay. Like that's fine. I don't know if I can deliver. At least that's what I was thinking in my head, right? Like I didn't want to be paid at plus this is like a side thing, right? Like
Yeah.
um so as this season has gone on, like I've spent a lot of time looking at photography that other sports photographers do. What are the kinds of things that they capture for like, you know, inspiration and stuff like that. I will tell you, like, it's very different to show up and photograph Clover versus like, you know, my son's U12 team. You know, they're a little bit faster at this age, it turns out. You know, which is something I anticipated. It just was a little bit there was a bit of a learning curve, and it's really funny when I go back and look at some of the earlier work. Like I submitted stuff to you guys that today I would be like, absolutely not. So it's just really cool to see that in my own growth.
Yeah, and that's a pretty quick progression too, because we're really only talking a couple of months here,
Yeah.
right? And it has kind of led to some expansion of the work that people are looking for too, right? So like
Right.
you did some work with I can't remember who it was, but some other club recently, right?
Yep. Nordic.
Yeah, that's really cool. How was that experience?
That was really fun. So they had done the walk on for one of the games, and somebody there representing Nordic, you know, she kind of flagged me down during the game and just said, "Hey, I would love a copy of those photos." And so her and I started talking after the fact, and she said, "Hey, once a year we like to hire a photographer to do this thing," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't really have like a menu of services. This isn't really like my, you know, money paying job or whatever." But we worked it out, and it was a great experience. I showed up to their training sessions on a Monday and a Thursday, and you know they take up many fields over at Tree Farm, and I just kind of walked around and did some action shots. And of course, the kids, you know, they see somebody with a camera, and they all, you know, jump in a group and throw signs and stuff like that. It was just fun. It was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a thing that you don't see, like the mugging for the camera. You don't see the Clover guys doing that very often, right?
No,
They're
no, they
just
don't.
at this point, your presence is just something that's there that they and you know some of them are playing in environments where there are people with cameras all the time. They're just not
Yeah.
paying attention to it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to hold for a
there
second.
was one of the first times that Michael tried to do something. I didn't realize he was talking to me. I thought he was talking to somebody else, like downfield. And then when I didn't like react and point the camera, like I looked at him because he was like obviously being loud, but I thought he was talking to somebody downfield. And when I didn't point the camera at him, he was just like, and I'm like, oh, that was for me. Okay. So now every once in a while, if when I catch the guys just kind of sitting around on the sidelines, I try to engage with them and, you know, get them to pose for a photo.
Yeah. Do you find that the little kids, when they see the camera, they're always just like they jump in front of it and they want to be in
Oh
there?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And in fact, some of the coaches shut that down real quick.
Yeah. Did you find the coaches kind of let in with like, oh, there's a photographer here, like ignore him? Or was it like, did it happen
It,
and then they
it
felt the
was
need to
about
correct?
50-50, right? Well, I guess it wasn't 50-50. It was like 33, right? Like some coaches completely ignored it. Some of them acknowledged the presence but didn't make a big deal out of it. And then there was a few that were definitely like, look, the camera's here. You want good pictures, perform, do your best, you know? And so it was really interesting.
Yeah, that's so. Was that a completely? I mean, generally shooting kids like Timothy's team is going to be different than Clover, but shooting the Nordic teams, was that more like the experience with Tim or more like the experience with Clover?
I would say it was a sweet combination of the two because of such the broad range, right? Like we had like the U10, the U12, and then it went all the way up to like U18. And so that there was definitely like, it wasn't maybe as intense as Clover can be sometimes, but it was up there.
Yeah, and there's some of those guys that are and girls that are potentially going to be in the pool over the next couple of years too,
Yeah.
right? So you might be seeing a little more of them, which is pretty wild. How do you? And maybe the obvious question is, how do you find time to do all this? Because you got the work thing,
Yeah.
and you got the family thing.
Yeah.
And like, how do you find time for the Clover thing?
Luckily my family is very kind of involved in the Clover thing. Like they're big Clover fans. They come to every game. When the opportunity came around to buy season tickets, it was like, well, we want to support this thing. And so we bought season tickets for my wife and my son. My wife has been very supportive of it. She knows how much I enjoy photography. And there has to be that kind of line in the sand. Like when Nordic first approached me, there was definitely like a conversation of budgets and stuff like that. Cause I love what I do for Clover, but I do it for free and
Mhm.
I can't keep giving my services away, right? Like I only have so much room to do free things, right? So when another organization wants me to come and do something, there definitely has to be a talk of like budgets and stuff like that. Like VSA recently asked me to cover some of their events, and I had to have that conversation with them. Like, and this is something new for me because I had a problem drawing a line in the sand with a previous passion project, and it burned me out hard, really hard.
Yeah, we don't want that. That's
No.
what was the previous thing you were doing?
So I was doing a podcast. I did a podcast from 2020 until the beginning of 2025. I left the show then.
Yeah, so this is a thing that I kind of struggle with sometimes too, is like the burnout thing. So
Yeah.
how do you do it? How do you avoid? I mean, it's happened to me too. It's happened to everybody at a certain point.
Yeah.
How do you avoid the burnout thing? How do you consciously manage through when that might be starting to happen?
So with the podcast, it had grown so much. It was actually a business, and we got an LLC for it. It was a single member LLC, and it was under my name. And I did not say no to any part of that business, right? Because it had my name on it. Like I was, one of the co-hosts. I was editing the show, managing all the social media experiences or accounts, negotiating with our customers, which are these big tech companies that wanted to advertise on our show. I was doing literally all of the things. And so I've learned like I can't do all of that anymore. So I only choose what things I want to give my energy to. And Clover has definitely been one of them. And as I've gotten more and more involved, I've made the decision to give more and more energy to it because I'm getting a lot out of it, right? Like I'm getting a lot of really good experience. I'm building a lot of great relationships. I work from home. I have great coworkers, but they're all over the world, right? So I don't get that kind of like people experience. But I'm feeling very a part of a community here, and I really enjoy the friendships that I'm starting to make, and so I'm getting so much more out of the Clover experience than I thought I was going to.
Well, that's really encouraging to hear. I love that. Just the fact that we're building community even for one person, right? Like that's what it's always meant to be, and always what it's meant to be about is building that community of people. Yeah, okay, the context is soccer, but
Right.
what the real context is people who are passionate about the thing that they're doing or that we're doing that want to come and be a part of something.
Yeah.
What are some of the other things that you do besides the photography stuff and the work stuff? We didn't talk a whole lot about your work, but you can if you want to. But what are some of the other things that you do to kind of keep your mind fresh?
Um, I am a big proponent of mental health, so I do a lot of meditation. I find a lot of benefits in that. It has helped me out a lot in the last year in my recovery from burnout. Making sure I'm taking the time, for myself, right? Like go for a drive, go for a jog, go do some other photography project that I'm really interested in, right? Like so, some good friends of mine started a beehive. And so I've been documenting, her beehive as it like, move in day, setting up the hive, setting up or having the actual bees move in, and then, checking on it every now and then. How are the how's the hive doing? Are they making honeycomb? Are they, putting larvae in there? Are they doing everything they are supposed to be doing to show signs of like this is where they've decided to live? And that's just been a really fun project. I'm learning more about bees. I'm doing something for a friend, and I'm getting some great photos out of it. So again, like going back to the whole, boundaries thing, like those things that are sucking the life out of me that I don't want to give my energy to, like I find a way to like stop, like this isn't working. I'm seeing those signs early on now. I'm noticing more, and especially with work too. Like work's really busy. I work for a tech company. I manage a demo environment. I've done enterprise IT my entire career, so I know servers, storage, hardware, predominantly networking. I was a network engineer for a long time, and so I get to do all of these things that I've done my entire career, but it's for a demo environment. So if it breaks, it's really not that big of a deal. And I don't have to worry about doing, cutovers in a data center with a bunch of people looking over my shoulder, like I used to in some jobs. So the professional job stress, like while it's still there, it's very different than how it used to feel. So just kind of trying to keep all that stuff in check and using the tools like the meditation and some other things to help when things start to feel a little uneven or rocky.
Yeah. Do you have a set time during the day that you meditate? Like, do you get up and do it, or is it like in the evening, or?
Yeah, it's usually first thing in the morning. I roll out of bed sometime between 5:30 and 6, wander to my office, and that's usually the first thing that I do before I start checking emails or anything else, before I start staring at screens.
Yeah, I appreciate that we're doing that at exactly the same time because I have a little morning routine that involves me. I don't know if it's meditation in the sense that most people think about it, but what it is a self check-in.
Okay.
Where am I at today? Like, where am I? I find that the hardest thing is self-awareness, and not
Yes.
like in the big sense of knowing who you are, because I'm gonna guess you've got a pretty good idea of who you are deep down inside, but in the moment there is not always that same self-awareness,
Right.
right? Because you get caught in things. It's like you know how to swim, but you're in a river and your raft just tipped over. So all you're worried about is getting to shore,
Yes.
right? And then you kind of lose, okay, this is how I actually need to swim. And this is
Yep.
how I swim the best way, and just kind of flailing over there. And I think that in all of that we do, the magic secret, like silver bullet is self-awareness. Like, where am I
Yes.
at least for me anyway, where am I at today?
Yep.
What do I, and it's not about a goal set. What do I want to accomplish? It's just like, where am I at today? What kind of intention am I setting for the day? What kind of intention, like, how do I want to feel today? Now, look,
Yeah.
that doesn't always make it 24 hours. Sometimes it makes it like 15 minutes, depending on what's
Yeah.
going on, right? Because I'm a
Yeah.
human and we're all humans. And I think that if there's anything that I would want to share with the listener is find that time for yourself to really ask yourself questions of like who you are, like what's important to you, what do you really value, and how can you bring those values into the work that you do. And to that question, what are some of the values that you have that you've identified in yourself that you're bringing into the work that you do?
Ooh, boy. That's a great question. Because while I have it, it's nothing I've like sat down and put into an organized list, right? So like I care very much about the quality of my work and making sure that it's as good as it can be. And I've always felt that way because early on in my career, I decided to treat myself like a business, right? Like if you create a brand of drink and people taste your drink and like, oh great, I want to taste that again, right? So that's the experience I want uh, to people have with me, right? Because a lot of people in IT, and I'm sure this is the same elsewhere, but they say like, oh well, I'm not customer facing, right? Like I do internal IT, and it's just, well, you're always customer facing, right? Like you always have a customer. So I want to make sure that anybody I interact with, they have a positive experience and they think of, oh, that's the person I want to work with next time around. It's very like, like brand awareness, but for me personally.
Yeah, just be the person that you wish you were dealing with, right?
Right.
In a professional sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I think that, and one of the reasons that I think that you're such a great fit for what we're doing at Clover is it is that you do bring that, like, you were a genuine pleasure to have around the field, right? And people look forward to seeing you there. There are times when I've been there and you haven't, they'd be like, oh, where's AJ? I'm like, I mean, I don't know. He's not here every day. But they're like, but they notice when you're not around, which says that they really value and respect you, not for the pictures that you take.
Right.
Because
Right.
most of them don't even see most of those pictures. They just see the one that gets up in Instagram or whatever. They're not looking at the drive of all the million pictures that we have back there.
Right.
They're just seeing and hearing your presence and knowing like, oh, this is a guy that I care that's around or not. Right. And take that for the compliment it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I'm not there. I don't know that happens, but thank you for sharing that. It's nice to hear.
Yeah. What have I missed? What am I missing here? What haven't we talked about that we should?
I think that, we need to talk about the fact that we lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
So actually, let me talk about that. Because when I reached out to you, we traded a few emails, and then you're just like, okay, let's talk on the phone tomorrow. And so I treated that like it was a very important interview. And maybe it wasn't, but to me it was. And I researched you, and I found that you had done another interview on another podcast. So I immediately downloaded it and listened to it. And you talked about how you used to do these pickup games in a Burlington neighborhood referred to as Lakeside. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, like I grew up in Lakeside. Like, this is crazy. But then you also brought up several times throughout that show, Vermonters helping Vermonters. And that was just a vibe that I really agreed with. Because there's just something special about this state, right? Like, I've traveled so much for work, and every time I go somewhere, I always just want to come back to Vermont. Like, there's just something really special about this place.
Yeah, there's a certain gravity that it has.
Yeah.
Right. That kind of, and it occupies a really kind of interesting place in the cultural, whatever it is, the cultural patchwork, right? Like, everybody's like, oh, Vermont, it's so great. And they don't like, but when they think about Vermont, they're thinking about like Killington, or they're coming to Stowe, or what have you, or they're going hiking. And it's like they come and dabble in Vermont, but they don't really know the thing.
Right.
But there's a certain gravity that it has. And people, you say, oh, I live in Vermont. People are like, oh yeah, Vermont, that's cool. It's like, all right, it is, but all right. I think maybe it's because Vermont is a small state, both like geographically, it's not so big, and also there aren't that many people here. So I think, with something like 600,000 people, I think that it really does carry this small town vibe. And maybe you know this to be true as a person who has lived here for most of your life. I only came here as an adult, but there's like 1 to 2 degrees of separation with just about everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, really doesn't go a whole lot farther than that in most cases that I find. And now it could be because I run in relatively small circles. That's possible. But I think that it really is that small that kind of everybody knows everybody.
Right.
And I like that. There's a certain awareness about that. And to the point of the Lakeside thing, that was the original Lakeside pickup game started. I can tell you when, 2002. I can tell you the people that started it. I wasn't a person who started it. I was their neighbor. I lived next door.
Okay.
So it started that summer because they moved into that place that summer, and it was like, oh, we love to play soccer. Let's play in that park across there. And then that's how that game started. And it's been going, I think, pretty continuously ever since. And it was a cool game because it wasn't like all the best people. Like, there weren't really a whole lot of very good players there that would come play in that pickup game at all. It wasn't about being the best soccer player. It was about just kicking a ball around and having a good time. And, little kids, 10, 11, 12, 13, would show up and they would play. And we would make sure that they felt included. We'd pass them the ball, like that sort of thing. Because that is the point. Like, if I wanted to, at the time, I hadn't gone back to college yet, and I wasn't really playing at a highly competitive level like I had earlier and like I did later. So if I wanted to go find like a good pickup game, I would go other places, because that's not what it was. It wasn't about like, oh, the best soccer. I'd go find that other places. But if I wanted to just chill out and play and kick around and like hang out with friends and like kind of like role model the game a little bit to people, then like that was there. It was cool. Lakeside is a cool neighborhood. If for people who don't know Lakeside, Blodgett Ovens used to be there. The St. John's Club is there, and the bike path goes kind of around, like on the one side of the park, right? And Harrison Ave is what it goes on. There's one of the very few places it's on the street is Harrison Ave, and we lived on the part of Harrison Ave that the bike path goes on.
Okay, I'm trying to think. What's the name of the place that occupies Blodgett Ovens now? I can picture it. I worked there for a short time.
You worked there? You can't remember the name?
Well, I didn't work for them, but it's a workspace sharing place, right? Like you can rent a desk and go there and work rather
Oh,
than
gotcha.
like
Like a
working from home.
co-working kind of space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since Blodgett was there. Blodgett actually, notwithstanding the place that where everybody plays at Shelburne Fieldhouse, where Queen City plays and Peak Football Club plays there, Shelburne Fieldhouse. That was Blodgett Ovens also.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. I did not
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. So next time you walk in there, like I'm sure Tim goes in there every once in a while for a game here and there
Yep.
or session. Just think of it as like they made ovens here, and the whole layout of the place will make complete sense. Whereas it doesn't make any sense as a recreational space until you're like, they have like there's that like you walk up and there's like that area up there, like the supervisor's area, and then
Yeah.
like you're actually playing on the factory floor.
Gotcha. That
Isn't that
makes a
wild?
lot of sense now.
Yeah.
Hula is the place
Oh,
is
hula.
now. Yeah. And it's really cool because if you go in there, they actually have a fully restored Blodgett oven sign in like one of their little like work nooks, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Why? I wonder who actually owns hula. Yeah, I guess it's not important. I think co-working spaces just generally are really neat. The co-working spaces. I had one down when I was running the beer company. I had one in Middlebury. VCET was who like rented that. I don't know how you say
Okay.
that acronym because everybody likes an acronym, right?
Yeah.
And it was cool. I actually met some people that my kids later went to school with that like worked like co-worked in that space.
Okay.
And it's cool because it's like you go in, you just flop down wherever. You need to have people in for a meeting, you just meet over here. Like you need to do, like it's not like a space reserved. It's like you pay a certain amount of money to be able to go in there and get the Wi-Fi basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a neat concept. It's like the old they used to be called internet cafes,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
where
Yeah.
like it's a cafe, usually coffee, and then you give them $5 to get the Wi-Fi, and then like that you could work there because there was no like there wasn't just generally available internet like there is now.
Right.
Right? It was much more limited. Yeah, it's cool. Cool concept. And Burlington's cool. Vermont's cool. I'm trying to think about like Lakeside is awesome. I haven't been there in a dog's age. You remember how I don't know what's there now. It might be part of Champlain College or it might be part of Dealer.com, but do you remember that like the parking lot was just like a burned out post-industrial husk? And like
Oh yeah.
when the Champlain Farms was like that tiny little like piece of trash.
Yeah.
And then that parking lot was like you get nervous to walk from one end to the other because like I mean it was always cold, even when it was warm out.
Let's see. There's across the street from the Cumbies is like the Burlington Municipal Garage and some Burlington
Yep.
town offices. Before that, it was St. Johnsbury Trucking.
Yep.
Um, I know Champlain College is behind Cumberland Farms now. They have a building with some offices there.
Yeah, the South End was way different back then.
Yeah.
Way different. And
Yeah.
like none of that stuff except for the Christian bookstore. Basically all that stuff except for the school is new,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And where Small Dog is, if you ever go down that way, for the listener, where Small Dog is, that used to be this like deli thing that was like
Red
kind
Roberts.
of, yeah, Red Roberts, that's right. And it was kind of
Yeah.
falling down, but the sandwiches were good.
Yeah, they were.
They were
Yeah.
really good down there. And it's the South, it's just Pine Street is completely different than it used to be.
Yeah.
Lake Champlain Chocolates was there for a long time, but it was like
Yeah,
just
I think
a
it's
factory.
still there.
No, it's dealer.
But Lake Champlain Chocolates is still on Pine Street, just not where it was.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
dealer
yeah.
is used to be like Champlain Chocolates
Yeah, that's right.
when it was, and they would just like making a lot of chocolate there. But all the rest of that stuff was basically like post industrial.
Yeah.
And now over the last 15 years or 10 years or what have you, it has come way up. I mean, the only thing down there, what is that called? Four Corners of the Earth Deli. That's been there for the entire time,
Yep.
kind of tucked back by the post office.
Yep.
It's not even the post office, actually. It's like where they do the deliveries, like the mail trucks.
Yep.
Distribution center, that's what you call them. And Speeder and Earl's has been there for a very long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, like, yeah, you could bring your recycling. And like the sidewalk wasn't complete. It was just like a dirt path. And I remember that because I didn't have when we first moved up here, I didn't have a car. I'd either walk or ride my bike if I wanted to go into town. So I remember Pine Street real vividly from when we lived down there. And that Cumbies was, I mean, nothing south of that was there anymore. It was
Yeah.
the school. It was like the school.
Yeah.
It's all new. All of that stuff is redone in the last, 15 years probably.
Yep. All new. Like there's a ton of breweries and restaurants and all sorts of stuff popping up down on Pine Street now.
Yeah, it's awesome now. And it used to just not be. And Lakeside, but Lakeside's always been like a neighborhood with heart, and the St. John's Club has always been fun. Like that was always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember listening to that podcast and hearing like all of these things that, you and I kind of like either had in common or the potential close encounters we could have had. And I was kind of thinking like, not that I necessarily had to pitch to you, but I feel like I had to pitch to you the idea of like what I wanted to do and getting you okay with the idea of me coming around. I just kind of felt like I had so many connections to what you were saying in the Clover message and also just having been in some of the same places, like I could relate to you enough that I felt like I could successfully pitch to you what I wanted to do with the team.
Yeah, it did come as a big surprise when I was like, "Yeah, man, that sounds awesome." Basically,
Yeah,
right straight away.
yeah, it did.
Yeah, I I like to think that every conversation I have is probably the most important conversation I've ever had. Like I really mean that. Like it's like when I'm calling somebody on the phone because I'm a big texter, as you know. When I'm talking to somebody on the phone, like that means something to me,
Yeah,
right? And I want it to like I want them to recognize and I want them to feel how important they are to me in that moment when I'm talking to them on the phone,
yeah,
because like we don't live in a world where people pick up the phone anymore. When I was a
that's
kid, like
very
that was how
true.
you got
Yeah,
in touch with someone or you yelled, right?
yep,
Come home for dinner. But now it's just like we just text. And I'm texting all day, every day. Like I'm texting
yeah,
a million people, a million things all the time. So like that's like my trash throwaway communication, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
But a phone call and the fact that you wanted to have a phone call about the thing and you wanted to like, hey, here's my plan. Like that was cool. And then you put a lot of thought into it because I kind of expected, you'd kind of alluded to it a little bit, but I kind of expected, yeah, I just want to take pictures, which would have been also fine. But the fact that you had this real coherent idea, like that's cool. And I like things that are like that are like, I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but this is the idea I have. Like,
yeah,
as you know, I'm just interested in a lot of things. And that's the sort of thing that just really piques my interest. Like, I
yeah.
can't wait to see this thing whenever it's done.
I
And I realize I'm just going to extend the season here. So, it's not going to happen until November or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get working on it, honestly, but there's still so much to take pictures of.
Well, yeah. And we've got all sorts of stuff coming up too, right?
Yeah,
Like, we got the end of the season, we got the playoffs, we got the women's team, we got, some like, we got like the Shaxbury Cup coming. So we have some exhibition kind of games, and we've got hopefully this New England Cup thing happens, which will keep us playing, weekly through the end of July, basically, which would
wow,
be, so like there's a lot more, I hope.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Um, I also really appreciate that you bring Tim around sometimes. I think that that's really cool. I've always wanted this thing to be a family thing.
Yeah,
My family helps out at the games. Like I've always wanted it to be a family thing. That's important to me. I want it to be for families. So it's got to start with us, right?
yeah. I appreciate the opportunity to bring him around. Practices happen late at night, so I don't bring him around all the time, but usually like during school breaks or something, I'll check in with Brian and make sure that it's okay that he comes around. And it's really cool to see the players give him their time. It's their time to be practicing, but if Tim's around and interacting, like I've seen Lute give my son his time, right? Like Tim put on his goalie gloves and he walked up. He's like, "Hey, I see you're warming up. Can I warm up with you? I'm a goalie too." And they welcomed him right in. And Lute took the time to kind of like teach him how to fall correctly and how to land on the ball, like and all this other stuff. And Tim remembers that stuff, right? And Oliver also gave Tim some time, and I think because of that, because they've interacted and played and kind of goofed around with each other, like Oliver is like one of Tim's favorite players.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Like, yeah. So when Oliver was out for a little bit, like I don't know if he's sick or injured or something, but he wasn't starting, or there was a game that he played and he came out like within the first 5 or 10 minutes. My wife texted me from the sidelines and she's like, "Tim needs to know, is Oliver okay?"
I
So
Dude, that's so cool.
yeah,
Like, I mean, your family, which makes your family, right?
yeah,
Like that's kind of how that goes. And I think I don't want to speak for the guys, but I'm sure that they feel the same way, right?
yeah,
That they're warm and they're welcoming, and I love that he just wanted to make sure he was okay. It's like I don't
yeah.
care if we win this game or not, but like I
Oh
really need
yeah,
to make sure my guy's okay.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. He was sick. I mean, he's still kind of sick. It's crazy. crazy thing going on with him, but he's getting better. I mean, he played.
Yeah, I saw he played this past weekend.
Yeah, half an hour, or not quite half an hour, which is a lot more than he's been able to play the last couple of weeks. So hopefully he'll be back soon.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a while that he was on a tear at the beginning of the season, but this is the frailty of everything that we do, right? It's here one moment and then it's gone a second,
Right.
right? Yeah. What else have we missed, man? We're almost getting to our time here, but what have we missed? I don't want to leave stones unturned.
Ooh. Man, I don't know. I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, we learned that your name is Alan James or Alan Jr. This is an important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on that note, maybe we can say goodbye to our listeners and thank them for coming and invite them to come next week as well.
Yeah. And if you've been anybody that's like started following me online, if I just really appreciate all the support and getting the opportunity to share, the progression and these photos and stuff. So thank you to everyone following Clover and me.
Yeah. Where do we find you? At AJ Murray Photography?
Yeah. So ajmurrayphotography.com and Instagram, aj.murrayvt.
aj.murrayvt, ajmurrayphotography.com.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Helps him out. Helping him out helps us out. Helping him out helps you out too. It will add to the overall quality of your life, I promise. And on that note, you all have a wonderful day. Catch us next time. Thanks again.
That's going to do it for today's episode of the Pink and Green Podcast. A huge thank you to our guests for joining us and sharing their story. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. It helps more people discover the growing soccer community here in Vermont. You can follow Vermont Clover FC and the Pink and Green Podcast on social media for updates, match coverage, and behind-the-scenes content throughout the season. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Until then, keep supporting local soccer and keep the game growing.
Wrapping around the